Uh, we have Pendai Ali Secondary School or Ali Sara Secondary School. We are going to their secondary school.
Biology and chemistry. And our expectation is they will take all three to GCSE with a modern foreign language. Oh, some learning of modern foreign language, others don't. But what you'll find is, so I think most people come with some French. I don't think I've had anybody come with German yet. And what's brilliant about it is that all the children are equal in a German lesson. They all start at the same point. Often, when you come from your primary school, you may be in a primary school of a year group of 60, and then suddenly you're coming to a year group of 180. And for some children, the transition is like water for a duck's back. It's very, very easy. Very easy. Other children, they get a little anxious, suddenly the big numbers and big sizes. And one of the things we encourage all children to do is to join at least one enrichment a term, if not two. And when you're doing an enrichment, you start mixing with some people with a common interest. So in other words, you don't have to work out reasons to talk to each other. You're both doing your cooking, and then you compare your cooking. The great news for us at the moment is we've run Cooking Club very successfully for 2 years without a cooker. This year, we have 10 cookers. Cooking this year will go electric, so we're very, very excited. But we have an expectation that now these are just a few of the, I think I've got about 25 up there. These are just some of the enrichments that we offer, and they expand. We often ask children the kind of enrichments they want to do as well, and there is talk about, now forgive me if I get this wrong, street dance, okay? Street dance. So if they can drum up enough people to want to do street dance, so it's not just two, I need at least 15 wanting to do street dance. Mr. Stowe will then source a street dancer to come and deliver. So that's how it sort of interacts. All right, I'm just quickly going to show these two pictures and then I'll explain the context. Even during lockdown, we made sure that we were expanding and reaching out to the broader community for our children. One of the things I've made my mission is to open a school in Borough. You cannot believe the opportunity we have on our doorstep. You just cannot, well, you live here, you probably do, but I can't believe as a principal the opportunities I've got on my doorstep. So one of these was, so in the picture in the background, if any of you are aware, that is Nicholas Heitner, or Sir Nicholas Heitner, the theatre director at the Bridge. And he cast our children as the ghost voice children in A Christmas Carol. And that was filmed, and he did it, as we're all learning now, via Teams, and he coached them, and you'll see the sound engineer more than 2 meters away, recording the children doing the voices. So that, again, is one of the great partnerships. The other one, I just want to show. Wasn't quite locked down yet, but we have a partnership with Southwark Cathedral. So this is our children performing at our carol service each year. It is important because there are often some questions around this. We are a non-denominational school, so we are non-denominational, so we are not faith-based, but we are respectful of people's faiths. And one of the things you need to understand is the haberdashers, the company, not the school, are a Christian company. So every year we do a service at Southwark Cathedral. Now, we have, and this is, I'll take a little time to explain this slide. We have, this is just some of the partnerships we've made with the local community and broader over the last 2 years. One I just want to point out at the moment, well, I'll tell you what is amazing. Most of these institutions have educational bases that never spoke to me when I ran my other schools. Now they're knocking on my door and they want it. So at the moment, Year 9 are now doing workshops at the Globe this week and next week. So, wow, what a resource. Why wouldn't I let them go and do this? So it's very, very important. Other bits up there is that we have a very good relationship with the Batul Aziz Mosque, the Islamic Cultural Centre, and they do a lot of work with us and part of our PSHE program. So it is an understanding that we're a multi-faith community of faiths and non-faiths, and it's important that our children understand that concept. You will see, because languages are very, very important to us, obviously I didn't finish off the British Institute, but languages are very important, so we do work closely with the Goethe Institute and the Académie Française just to make sure it works correctly. And this will be, well, those of you who have siblings higher up in the school may know, I had promised to take all of Year 7 and Year 1 to France, and unfortunately the pandemic happened and it shut down. I promised to take them last year, and unfortunately the pandemic shut it down. So, touching wood, if there is no issues this year, Year 9 will get their trip to France. So, I did promise, but we need the pandemic to settle down. So this is news to them, by the way, so you're hearing it at the same time they are. So it is very important, but again, what we've been very lucky is that we have parents who have reached out to their contacts and made partnerships or collaborations for us. And so the Saatchi Gallery is an example of one. We've been able to do a workshop at the Saatchi Gallery because of connection through one of our parents. So to us, we think it's very important that outside engagement with professional organizations help enrich the curriculum that they're learning. They need to understand the concept. So it takes it out sometimes of the dry atmosphere of a classroom and moves it very much so into the context of workplace. And I'm expecting that next year, your people who are following you on coming next year, that list should be even longer and our partnership should be even greater. Right. Now, the question you're all asking, I'm now going to spend some time on the building. Right. I am probably speaking to people who already know, but in 2015, a parent group got together called SE1, and I think there are a lot of parents from Charles Dickens involved in this, parents from the Cathedral School, and other parents in the local area, and they said they wanted another secondary school in this part of the borough. And through their amazing work and the canvassing and the resilience and determination, they convinced the DFE and the local authority that a secondary school should come here. They then looked out to find a secondary partner, and we were very lucky that they chose us to be the secondary partner, Haberdashers. And so every year, it's very important to me to acknowledge the work that they did to get this school open. In 2017, I came on board this project, and in 2017, if you'd looked at all the plans and the drawings, I was opening a brand new school for everybody in 2019. So didn't happen, we were on Grotto site. 2020, we got the north wing, which you're in now, and we're still at Grotto site. 2021, again touching wood, our current Year 7s are at the Grotto site at the moment, but we hope they'll be moving into this building at Christmas. And what's important about this building is that it does marry old and new. And when you're trying to marry old and new, and there's, what do you call it? Stage 2 building status. Listed, thank you, listed stage, listed 2 stage, or whatever, listed status. So it means door handles, architraves, and sometimes that doesn't marry well with education or how a school is run, and so that has been part of the delays. And also part of the delays is who would know that the pingdemic would decimate half the workers working here? Who would know that the workers rely on all the stuff to be delivered to the site. The pingdemic wiped out the truck drivers who are delivering the stuff to the site. So It is with a little bit of frustration on my part that we don't have the entire building now. But when you walk around today, you will see the bits of the building that they have given us. So you will see the entire north wing. You will see a little bit of the new build as you go round over to the sports centre and the multi-user games area. And what's very important about the sports centre, this is a community use sports centre. So it's mine or the school's during the day. In the evening, weekends and holidays, it's for community use. Right. Oh yeah, just to add. So, I have a floor of entire laboratories, science laboratories. So I have 9 laboratories. You won't be seeing them today because I can't get you up there safely because there are still building men in there. I have an entire floor of design technology rooms, which is RM, digital resistant materials, catering, graphics, 3 stunning art rooms. We're doing 3D art, we've got a kiln. I mean, what we've got on the first floor is phenomenal. So, and again, having run other schools, we have a riches up here which your children will get to use. And then, hang on, let me just show you this. I just want to show you this picture at the moment. So this is just to set you in a context. If you look to the left of the screen, if you look at the left of the screen and you see the trees, that's Mint Street Park. And you look across and then you can see the school, and then the sort of thing that's wrapping round the school, they are the flats. So everything interior is the school, everything wrapping around at the top and to the right are flats. And then behind it is the sports centre and the multi-user games area. And then you'll see something that looks like a park. And again, some of you may be involved in this already. So when the Grotto Temporary School moves, we will be converting that into parkland. So I am the first inner city London school with its own park. Okay? And it's a park for us. Okay? Again, when the kids are gone at weekends, community use, but it is our park during the school day. So it is very, very exciting. So when you go over, you will see the multi-user games area and you will see the sports centre. But until I can move Year 7 into this building, they're still in the temporary school building over there. Now, just want to take a little bit of time talking about the name Haberdashers. So, those of you who know the history of this school, or this site, will be aware that once upon a time there was a workhouse on this site. So in early Victorian times, this is where poor folk had to come to get shelter, food and clothing, and it wasn't a nice place. And I think we all have images of Oliver Twist when we talk about workhouses. Then the workhouse was closed, and 2 milliners, brothers, bought the site, and then the current frontage of the building, they built their grand design, 2 houses. And what was interesting about those grand designs is they mirror each other when you walk around. Okay, so they mirror each other. So 2 milliners took it over, and then their fortunes waned. This went to a bit of rack and ruin, and then the London Fire Brigade bought it. And then the London Fire Brigade, so some of you, not quite my age, but may remember in the 70s or 80s, there used to be a TV programme on ITV called London's Burning. Anybody remember? Most of it was filmed here. So if you want to see, if you want to see images of how the school used to look, go onto YouTube and you can see it. And what was very interesting is then the haberdashers took over. And what I think was very interesting about the haberdashers is, guess what the haberdashers do? They supply the milliners with the equipment they need to make their hats. So there is some sort of synchronicity here about haberdashers moving into a place that was once occupied by milliners. Now, so the haberdashers is a company that's been around since the 1600s. That is their motto, serve and obey. It's very important to understand that some people find the serve and obey motto slightly out of kilter for the 21st century. I just want to give you a sort of short way of thinking about it. Serve means serve your community. You must serve your community. And obey means you must obey your conscience. Okay? It's community and conscience. That's what it's about. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. But, so, the Haberdashers as a livery company have been involved in education since the 1850s, and they've been able to open schools due to legacy money that's been left to them by the former Haberdashers. And this is how the Haberdashers in southeast London started, and the legacy was left to educate the sons of poor working class men. But this is how forward-thinking the Haberdashers were back then, even in the 1850s. They also realised that working class men had daughters, so they expanded it to open up education for working class, for the sons and daughters of working class men. So over in southeast London, in Telegraph Hill, New Cross site, the first Haberdasher boys' school was set up in 1875, and about a year or two later, the girls' school was set up there. Now, what's very interesting about the girls' school is that our motto changed. So we have a history of changing our motto, and our motto changed because the first headmistress, Mrs. Connolly, felt serve and obey was a bit masculine, and she wanted something different. So she chose amor vincit omnia, and for the Latinists, forgive me, but this is my translation, it means love conquers all. So love conquers all. That was what she wanted the aspirational model for the girls' school to be. So, in setting up this new school, trying to honour our legacy and past, continue on for a new generation of haberdashers, this is what we are making as an undertaking to you. So, if you do decide to choose Borough Academy to send your child to, I will teach them how to serve the community. I will teach them what it means to obey your conscience. How do you work things out? But also, I will do it in an environment where I believe love conquers all. Thank you.
I know you're really, really keen to go and have a look around the school, so I will keep this as brief as possible before we send you around. I hope that this will be the most straightforward of all the admissions information that you will hear, because our criteria is really simple. We have no tests, we have nothing that you have to do specifically, no extra forms that you have to fill in order to apply to our school. If your child is currently in year 6, you will have a common application form from your local borough, so Southwark or Lambeth. I know some Charles Dickens just on that border of Lambeth. So from Southwark or Lambeth, you will have a common application form. It's the same form that every family fills in across the whole of the country. On that, you get to put 6 preferences. I say preferences, not choices, because it's less emotive. When you think you've got a choice, you really want one of those. It's a preference. You put 6 on. So if you want us to be one of your 6 preferences, you put us somewhere on that list. Hopefully first, but somewhere on that list. Our criteria is really simple. First and foremost are any students with EHCPs. They do not apply through the common application form, so if your child has an EHCP, they apply through Southwark SEN, and that process is completely different, completely separate. After that, we have looked after children or previously looked after children. So if your child has been in care or is currently being in care, they are the ones who come next on the list. After that, we have medical and social. This is the only criteria which you have to do a little bit of extra work. If you think that your child qualifies under the medical or social criteria, you have to write to Mr. Jones with the evidence of why your child meets the medical and social criteria. And I'm happy to speak specifically about that after you've done your tour about individual cases rather than tell everyone. After that, it is purely distance. So the vast majority of children will be ranked according to how far you live from that gate there. So it is as the crow flies from this postcode to your postcode, and that is it. There is no test, there is no bring me a nice box of chocolates, there's none of that. It's purely distance. It is distance because we, as Mr. Jones said, believe in serving our community. So the people who live in our community are the people we want to come to our school. So it is purely distance. No extra forms, you just have to fill in the common application form for your local authority. You put them in order. I know I'm going to get questions about does it matter what order we put you in? We do not know what order you put the schools in. Okay, I know someone's going to go, if you don't put us first, you won't get in. I don't know what order. So when Mr. Stowe and I and Mr. Jones look at all the lists of students, all we know is the distance that you are. We don't even know what primary schools you come from when Southwark send us, or when the local authorities send us the list. We know nothing other than name and distance. You put 6 on there. I would advise that you do put 6, because if you only put 1 and you don't get it, the local authority will allocate you a school that has a place. Okay, and that normally makes people very upset. The deadline for applications is the 31st of October online, and you will hear the outcome of the applications on the 1st of March. The whole country hears on that day. Nobody knows any earlier. We hear, I think, the day before, only so we can prepare to send you letters. So it is the 31st. On our website, after the open days are all finished, if you are not fortunate enough to gain a place and you want to appeal and all the various other processes, they will be on there. But it is a really super simple system. Common application form, 6 preferences. Ours is just distance, nothing else. No hidden criteria. Okay? I will be, wherever you end your tour, I will be there. Mr. Stowe has slightly changed it. Everybody is going to tour the building first, and then he's going to take you all to the sports centre together. So, do you want to sort of...
Just add, the reason we're doing it this morning is you will see classes in operation. So, we won't be taking inside a class, but every class has a massive class panel, so you can look in. So the kids will be being taught, and the reason we're going to be pushing them up very quickly at 10:35 is that when break time is, and having an extra 100 people here plus my 360 is, well, it's not useful for me. So.
Yeah, this is the outside of the...
You want to walk back with me, or are you going to stay here?
I don't know. What do you say?
So I'm not going to be able to open it, unfortunately.